Hello, and welcome to GC360, your source for the latest news and stories from the heart of our community and beyond. I'm Caroline Hubbard, and we have a packed show for you today.
And I'm Madeline Agostini. Whether you're a student, faculty member, or just someone interested in what's happening in our community, GC360 is here to keep you informed and engaged. The 2024 election came to a close at 5:30 a.m. Wednesday morning, where Donald Trump was officially announced as the 2024 president-elect. While a final count may not be received for a few days, Trump won the race with 277 electoral votes, with battleground Wisconsin being his clinching state. Trump is the first president in over 100 years to serve non-consecutive terms, and he is also the first president with convicted criminal charges and 2 previous impeachments. The Republican Party also won majority over the Senate and House of Representatives. The last time this occurred was Trump's first term between 2017 and 2019. This was the election for the history books. Coming up, we will hear what 2 Georgia College students think about this outcome.
Welcome back. With the results of the election, GC360 saw it important to see what some students thought about it. We spoke with Isabel Gonzalez, a member of Turning Point.
I think that this was a well-welcomed election. I think a lot of people are sick of the establishment and how it's been the past 4 years. I think people want to change. We've seen over the past 4 years how our lives have just degraded for the worse. And I think people are ready to at least try something new, even if a lot of people aren't comfortable with the idea of what that new is. I think a lot of people are just excited to try and get some sort of improvement in the government. I know a lot of people are not happy with the results. I think a lot of people are scared that rights are going to be taken away, but also you have to remember that there is a checks and balances, and that's not always a possibility for things to just be taken away like that. There has to be a lot of steps in between, and a lot of things won't get passed, even though it was a full red wave. The House, the Senate, the presidential seat, and the judicial system are all now primarily red. There's still a lot of people within those parties who aren't going to say yes to everything and aren't going to allow everything to go red. There's still going to be a lot of people who will vote more on the blue side, and I think it's a time for people to just be optimistic. The Republicans have been dealing with just sitting quietly and watching and waiting for a long time, and I think it's our turn now to finally try and put our toes in the water and try and fix what we can.
We also talked with Emily Wright, a member of Young Democrats, and here's what she had to say on the matter.
So I'm a little bit disappointed and very surprised. I definitely expected a different outcome, and I think I'm mostly just disappointed that so many Americans chose a convicted felon and someone who's committed crimes against women over, their mothers and their daughters and their sisters. And I just think there was a lot on the line, and I'm disappointed that a lot of the things that are really important to me are kind of at risk at this moment, but I'm going to choose to move forward and choose compassion and happiness and faith over fear and just try to stay positive.
A Georgia College student and teacher assistant, Nicholas Wimbish, was arrested Monday and charged for mailing false information about a bomb threat and making false statements to the FBI. Wimbish forged a letter claiming to be a voter to the Jones County Election Superintendent, where he worked the polls. The letter was a result of an altercation Wimbish had with a voter earlier that day. His court date was Tuesday, November 5th.
Hundreds of voter ballots were set aflame in Portland, Oregon in late October. Incidents such as these in 2020's January 6 riot have left many in fear of the possibility of post-election violence. A survey conducted by AP News stated that 4 in 10 registered voters are concerned about post-election violence. GCC students expressed their thoughts on the matter as we move on to face the results of the 2024 presidential election.
I know, especially with 2020, there was definitely a huge kind of just like devastation about it was like, they forgot the phrase that they used, but it was it was a fraud, and this person should have won it, but it should have not been this person. So I feel like especially now, I feel like either way it's gonna go, there's whichever way, there's one party's gonna be satisfied and happy, and then the other party's gonna be more like, this is rigged, this is not fair, blah blah blah.
Many students acknowledged the possibility of post-election violence, with some expressing their distrust of the Electoral College.
I think if people weren't happy with the outcome and enough people did gather to express their discontent with that, it's more likely that some form of violence or some, how would you say, maybe disorderly conduct might take place, because people behave the way they do in groups, and when you feel supported with other people, you're more likely to take certain actions you wouldn't do alone. I don't know what it would look like. I don't think it's going to be detrimental. I don't think it would be like a huge uptick in violent crimes against people, hide in your houses, it's over type of deal. But people might get rowdy.
Honestly, I would see I think just because the way that stuff is now, like how polarized the political landscape is, I could see there being some form of outlash depending on the vote, just because people have it go the way they want. But genuinely, I could see that being more of should the Democratic Party win and Kamala wins, I think honestly it'd be more of an outlash from the Republicans and vice versa. I think there'd be more political violence if the Democratic Party won than if the Republican Party did.
In an interview with NPR News, Dr. Lucy McBride stated that the best way to deal with election anxiety is to exercise your independence and vote. McBride went on to say anxiety is the absence of control, and that using your voice makes a difference.
Georgia College has been recognized for the amount of student voters in the 2022 midterm elections, and the campus was awarded the Silver Seal. Reporter Madeline Agostini spoke to Georgia College professors about what this means and what the progress they want to see in the future for upcoming midterm and presidential elections.
As election season comes to a close, Georgia College has been recognized for our number of student voters in the 2022 midterm elections. The All-In Silver Seal of Achievement is granted to schools across the nation who are making an effort to get their students to the polls. With more information, here's Dr. Nicholas Creel.
So really, this is just a recognition for our level of participation in the most recent midterm elections in 2022. So the silver status is one which basically says somewhere between 30 to 39% of our students actually showed up and voted in a midterm. There are levels above that. You can have gold, platinum, and whatnot for even higher levels of participation. But we are at a level that's higher than what you would see at an institution that didn't do anything to try to get their numbers up.
Georgia College has received this recognition before, with the bronze in 2016, the gold in 2018 and 2020, and now the silver in 2022. Dr. Jan Hoffman is the campus coordinator for the American Democracy Project. When asked about the achievement, Hoffman said that she is very proud of Georgia College's voter turnout numbers from the past and that she is confident these achievements will continue. Here is Dr. Creel on what progress he wants to see in the future.
Even more than that, I think we might want to be able to see if we can start getting students to start registering to vote in this county. That is a huge problem when it comes to actively voting, is that most of our students aren't from Milledgeville or really particularly anywhere close to it. They have to go home, which is often an hour or two drive away. And so because of that, voting is all the more difficult for them to do. So if we can get them registered to vote here in this particular county, I think that'd be a much better way to get them to start actually then turning out and voting for the elections themselves. And even better, if we can maybe turn an area of campus into a polling location, get people to actually start voting on campus. The easier we can make it, the more likely people are to do it. So I'd really like to see us taking some of those steps to the degree we can.
Bobcats, we are so proud of you for using your voice and practicing your civic duty. Closing out for GC360, I'm Madeline Agostini. Coming up after the break, a limited time exhibit opened up at the Central State Hospital Museum.
GCSU takes a drive in the new mobile health unit.
And a look at next week's weather forecast. All this and more on GC360 after the break.
My name is Kathleen O'Neill, and I'm the costume shop supervisor and instructor for the theater department. So the costume department does a lot of different things. It helps teach our theater majors what costuming is for theater in general and for film. A lot of students come in to be theater majors not knowing that tech is going to have to be part of their major, and they don't know how to sew, they don't know how a costume shop works, and so that's my job to teach them. Most of the time they take the skills they learn in here and then they apply it to their life. And I hear all the time that they come in and they're like, Kathleen, I sewed a button on my pants because you taught me how to do it. And it just makes me feel good. But yes, they do take what they learn in here and apply it to their personal life.
Welcome, listeners. How are y'all doing? Coming soon, right from the classrooms of Midway Hills and Lakeview Academies, the Writing for Success podcast, a reimagining of the 1998 anthology, Everybody Has a Story to Tell, Stories of Flannery O'Connor's Milledgeville. Baldwin County students will share their stories as part of this 100% federally funded grant of $385,000 to improve literacy in Baldwin County Elementary School. That sounds pretty good, y'all. Come check it out. Can't wait to see y'all there, or hear y'all there, or just hang out there. See you there.
Central State Hospital was once the nation's largest mental health institution in the late 1800s. Now the hospital has a museum to remember the lives that were taken at the hospital through a limited time exhibit. Reporter Teresa Owens went to the exhibit and talked to workers about its importance.
Fast Fading, A History of Central State Hospital is a museum that was put together through the collaboration of the Old Capitol Heritage Center and Seeking Asylum, LLC. A new exhibit, Death at the Asylum, was put together with the help of the museum's interns and Georgia College juniors, Evelyn Evans and Alex Gray. Evelyn explains how the exhibit was put together and its importance.
Basically, we examined about 100 years worth of death that occurred on site. And in the annual report, they're published each year. They have a total of death throughout the year, and they break it down by how many people died of what illness, their race, and then their gender. So basically, we went through and pointed out the most common types of death and some of the more interesting ones, as well as any famous death that occurred here.
This exhibit took a lot of research and planning. Alex Gray talks about the planning process.
So I think it was rather easy. Jessica kind of had like her own idea of what she wanted for the exhibit, and then Evelyn and I, we both expanded on that idea. She was like, hey, I've got this table, and I want to put stuff on it. And she already had toe tags and maybe a couple other things. And we just looked through those annual reports and we found more stuff to put in.
The Death at the Asylum exhibit offers a different perspective of the history of Central State Hospital. Alex shares his thoughts.
I think it's important because we all kind of come in with our own preconceived notions of what a mental asylum is. I know for myself it was kind of, it's just a bunch of crazy people all being crazy in one place. But it's not that. And I can't speak for what Jessica wants us to be, but I want it to kind of ground it, I guess. So I don't want mental asylums to be seen as just the loony bin, for lack of a better term. I want it, like everyone said, for people to realize that these were people that conducted their daily lives here. I want that to be the main focus of this.
Recognizing and remembering our history is vital for honoring the stories of those gone and improving ourselves for the future. Reporting for GC360, I'm Teresa Owen.
The Mobile Health Unit at Georgia College is designed to provide accessible healthcare services to students in the local community. The unit offers a range of services, including immunizations, physical exams, mental health support, and health education. The Mobile Health Unit aims to bring essential services directly to counties that often lack resources needed. Some counties that the unit will go to are Baldwin, Bibb, Hancock, Jones, Putnam, Houston, and Wilkinson. Through this new resource, nursing, exercise science, and public health students can work in the unit under supervision to gain hands-on skills and overall experience in their designated field. It promotes health and wellness and fosters a sense of community engagement and support by utilizing this unit. Reporter Ryan Collins spoke to Damian Francis, the Associate Professor of the Public Health Unit, about the impact on the Mobile Health Unit.
The Mobile Health Unit will help us to provide screening for community members in underserved populations. So primarily, we'll be doing screening on non-communicable chronic diseases. So we'll be looking at hypertension, diabetes, high cholesterol, anemia, just to name a few. We also hope in the future to expand the care provided by the Mobile Health Unit to mental health conditions and also to preconception care. So looking at mothers or women well-being before motherhood or before pregnancy and gestational period.
I can't wait for my nice long autumn stroll through the beautiful streets of Milledgeville next week.
Oh my gosh, can I come too?
Of course you can!
Then let's hope nothing rains on your parade. You can find that out with Hallie Bergstrom with the weather. Hallie?
I want in on this lovely stroll too. Sadly, we'll be seeing some gray skies and rain. Keep your heads up though, as we'll be looking for some events to do while on campus. On Friday, we're going to be seeing some partly cloudy weather throughout the week, with a low of 66 and a high of 79. This week kickstarts the Theater and Dance Department's show Twelfth Night by William Shakespeare, so be sure to grab your tickets. Saturday will remain partially cloudy with a low of 59 and a high of 76. The GCSU choir will have an ensemble concert titled Americana, so head to First Baptist Church at 7:30 p.m. to hear some great singing. Sunday will bring some showers to Milledgeville with a low of 63 and a high of 70. Monday will keep the showers going but get a bit warmer in the afternoon with a low of 59 and a high of 77. Don't let the rain keep you down though, as campus will still be open, so take advantage of the Serenity Den or some other resources on campus. Tuesday will stay roughly the same temperature, but lead with partly cloudy weather and no rain. This will be a low of 58 and a high of 77. For media students or anyone interested in podcasts, the Ena Dillard Library will be hosting a beginner podcast workshop. Make sure to stop in at the Museum Education Room at 5:30 p.m. for some tips on how to get started. Wednesday will keep the clouds coming with a low of 60 and a high of 76. If you feel like staying inside, head over to Centennial for the men's basketball game against Auburn Montgomery. Finally, Thursday will bring the rain back, but the highest temperatures of the week, with a low of 58 and a high of 83. Take the evening, as long as you don't have any homework, to head to the Max Noah Recital Hall to see the music department's show Desire and Destiny. 14 students will be performing a variety of different operas in 4 different languages. That's it from me. Make sure you stay dry out there and support our different departments on campus. Have a great week. Back to you, Madeline and Caroline.
Thanks, Hallie. Coming up after the break, we will kick things off with what is happening in the world of sports. Georgia College's Department of Arts and Music put on their annual Artober.
And finally, diving deeper into the entertainment world. All of this and more on GC360 after the break.
I'm Eric Griffiths. I am the interim chair of the Department of Theater and Dance. Our general mission, of course, is teaching theater artists, actors, designers, technicians. Of course, students will specialize in certain areas, but they will know if an actor leaves here and that is their goal is to perform, they will also know how to hang a light. They will know how to sew a button on a costume. They have these other skills. So we offer kind of a mix of the soft skills and the hard skills for doing the work. Our goal is to create a well-rounded theater artist that knows a little bit about everything that goes into producing theater.
My name is Kathleen O'Neill, and I'm the costume shop supervisor and instructor for the theater department. So the costume department does a lot of different things. It helps teach our theater majors what costuming is for theater in general and for film. A lot of students come in to be theater majors not knowing that tech is going to have to be part of their major, and they don't know how to sew, they don't know how a costume shop works, and so that's my job to teach them. Most of the time they take the skills they learn in here and then they apply it to their life. And I hear all the time that they come in and they're like, Kathleen, I sewed a button on my pants because you taught me how to do it. And it just makes me feel good. But yes, they do take what they learn in here and apply it to their personal life.
Harris and Trump have finished their presidential race. Let's see if there are any other races on the horizon in the world of sports with B. Rowan. B?
No races, but there have been other exciting games this week. Starting off with the Georgia Bulldogs, they went up against their biggest rivals, the Florida Gators, last Saturday. The Bulldogs were behind until the third quarter, where they took the win 34-20, securing Georgia's fourth consecutive win against Florida. This is the longest win Georgia has had against their rivals since 1978. Carson Beck overcame 3 interception throws, leading Georgia to its victory. The Falcons played against the Cowboys last Sunday and secured yet another win for Georgia, 21-27. The Falcons stayed strong throughout the entire game, with help from Darnell Mooney, who yet again broke his single-season record. Now, on to Bobcat sports. GCSU women's volleyball played a total of 3 times this weekend. Friday, November 1st, they played against the University of South Carolina, Atkinson, scoring 0-3. On Saturday, they went against Lander, once again scoring 0-3. They played their last game of the weekend, Sunday, against Emmanuel, scoring 1-3. In other Bobcat news, the girls' soccer team played against Southwestern State, winning 1-0, which seeded them number 4 in the Peach Belt tournament. Their game will be at GCSU for the first time in 10 years. They will be playing Clayton State in the quarterfinals, so come support your fellow Bobcats this Saturday at 7 p.m. That's all the sport updates I have for you this week. Back to you, Madeline and Caroline.
Thanks, B. Georgia College takes pride in its art department. One way Georgia College does this is through Artober. This event unveils what students are doing throughout the art departments at Georgia College. Reporter Abby Hegelstein went to Artober to give us the scoop.
On Wednesday, October 30th, GCSU's Departments of Art, Music, Communications, and Theater and Dance held an event called Artober at Ennis Hall. The event was open to the public and showcased the many talents of students and faculty in the arts. And the event had featured their creations such as music performances, film screenings, art displays, graphic design demonstrations, and more. Matthew Forrest, head of the art department and one of the event's organizers, shared his take on helping set up the event.
It's just a lot of organizing and making sure departments are communicating, making sure students are communicating to their home departments so that we know timing and the structure of the event. So tonight, in particular, like you can hear in the background, opera singing, everything was set up on a 15-minute schedule. So we're here for 2 hours, but we had almost 4 things going on every 15 minutes from every department.
Matthew Forrest also commented on the importance for having such events for both the students and the community.
It's important because a lot of times students may not have another way to showcase their work collaboratively between the departments. And it also allows the local community, including those that live in Milledgeville and around, to kind of see what Georgia College has to offer.
Many students were excited to present their works and perform for a crowd. Rachel Lumpkin, one of the performers at Artober, shared her thoughts about her performance and getting to work with other students.
We were showcasing a piece about belonging, wanting to fit in, find a particular group, or like wanting to belong after having a mental or physical disability. And we recently took this piece to the Pettigene Performance Festival in Arkansas. And we've worked on this for the past month-ish or so, 2 months. And it's been great working with Ava and Nisher. And it's been a tiring process, but also very fun at the same time.
While the event celebrated the talents of Georgia College students, it also gave back to the community by gathering donations for both the Campus Corner and the Middle Georgia Food Bank. Donors were gifted plates, bowls, and other pottery works made by the students and professors. The event overall had a successful turnout, and it was a great night for showcasing unique art. Reporting for GC360, I'm Abby Helgeson.
At the GCSU Artists, it has me wondering if there is anything else exciting going on in the entertainment industry. Isabella Turner has the scoop. Isabella?
Thanks. Tyler, the Creator, debuted his new album, Chromacopia, on October 28th. It reached #1 on Billboard 200 and was the second highest selling rap album of 2024. Earlier this month, Netflix released Woman of the Hour, which was Anna Kendrick's directing debut. The film is based off a serial killer, Rodney Alcala, when he appeared on a dating show in the 1970s. Netflix also dropped the names of Stranger Things Season 5 episodes, which will premiere in 2025. Sadly, Quincy Jones, an American music legend, passed away Sunday, November 3rd at 91 years old. He will be remembered for his vastly influential work in the music industry. Jason Kelce got into an altercation with a college football fan after the fan used explicit homophobic words to describe his brother, Travis Kelce. In a video taken of the incident, it appears that Jason Kelce smashed the fan's phone. Kelce has since apologized for his actions. However, there is an ongoing investigation about the situation by Penn State University. In Bobcat news, William Shakespeare's Twelfth Night will be put on by the Theater and Dance Department. So like Hallie said, be sure to grab a ticket this week. The performance will be located in the Campus Black Box Theater until November 9th. You can get your tickets at tickets.gcsu.edu. And scene. That ends the entertainment news for this week. Back to you, Madeline and Caroline. That's all for this week, GC360. Thank you for joining us today, and make sure you tune in next Thursday at 4 p.m. on NBC TV4 through the CableCast app. I'm Madeline Agostini.
And I'm Caroline Hubbard. When we're not on the air, we keep you up to date on our social media. That's at GC360 News on Instagram and YouTube, and at bobtapmultimedia.com/GC360. Always available to you where news comes full circle. See you next week.
I'm Eric Griffiths. I am the interim chair of the Department of Theater and Dance. Our general mission, of course, is teaching theater artists, actors, designers, technicians. Of course, students will specialize in certain areas, but they will know if an actor leaves here and that is their goal is to perform, they will also know how to hang a light. They will know how to sew a button on a costume. They have these other skills. So we offer kind of a mix of the soft skills and the hard skills for doing the work. Our goal is to create a well-rounded theater artist that knows a little bit about everything that goes into producing theater.